Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Minions of the Zoo. It's almost Christmas. I'm your host, Skep tonight, and with me, I have Minions Prospero,
Hello.
Mobile Press, aka Blind Press,
Hello, everybody.
and the Harry Channel.
Good evening.
Merry Christmas to you all. And uh, Prospero Año, uh, as we say down here in Texican. I hope you have a prosperous new year. I hope everybody's having a good evening this evening. Uh, the old comic strip Pogo they used to say this almost every year. Not almost every year. Every couple of years they would rerun a Pogo strip, and the punchline of the Pogo strip was Christmas is at our throats again. And I tend to feel that way. You know, it's not that I'm a Grinch about it. There are a lot of lovely things about Christmas, but we seem to miss most of them every year in our rush to get the best deals on retail things. It really has become a time when we worship the retail opportunities that we have, and uh, I think it's sad that we have forgotten about the origins of Christmas and Santa Claus. It really doesn't have much to do with the birth of Christ, except that it's Christ's feast day, as much as anything. But the legend of Santa Claus is hundreds of years old. There was a monk named Saint Nicholas, and he was probably born around 300 AD in modern day Turkey. He was known for being a kind monk, a very pious monk, and his legendary generosity made him the subject of legend. He was born fairly wealthy, but he gave away all of his inherited wealth and took a vow of poverty. And anytime he came into a buck, he gave the money to the poor and the sick. And one of the best known St. Nicholas stories is the time that he saved three poor sisters from being sold into slavery, probably prostitution, by their father, by providing them with a dowry so that they could be married. Because it was like, make yourself pretty and presentable to be married, or I'm going to sell you into slavery because I'm your dad. That was life back in the year 300. And so over the course of many years, the future Saint Nicholas popularity spread, and he became known as protector of children, particularly. And he evidently rescued a lot of kids who would have gone into slavery, partially by essentially paying off the people who would enslave them, and finding a way by this way or that, just by begging mostly and prevailing upon friends of his family.
By hook or by crook, just to be
by
able
hook or
to-
by crook, yeah, just to get enough money together to avoid catastrophe. And he was literally keeping people alive by providing them with enough money to eat, enough money to keep their families together, and so forth. And he became very popular as a result. Now he died on December 6th, and that is his feast day. And this is traditionally considered a lucky day to make large purchases or to get married. And so that's where the germ of the idea of the retail monstrosity that we deal with once a year now started, with that superstition or that legend. And by the Renaissance, Saint Nicholas was the most popular saint in Europe. He really was. He was venerated. He was painted. He was, worshipped, prayed to. Even after the Protestant Reformation, when the veneration of saints was definitely on the decline, and Saint Nicholas maintained a positive reputation, particularly in what would become the mainstay of the Protestant countries, and particularly in Protestant Holland.
Mhm.
And so Anyway, he made his first inroads into American popular culture toward the ends of the 18th century. And seems like it was 1773 or 1774, if I remember correctly. I was reading a New York newspaper, and it was reporting that groups of Dutch families had gathered to honor the anniversary of his death. The name Santa Claus evolved from Nick's Dutch nickname, which was Sinterklaas, a shortened form of Sint Nicolaas, which is Dutch for Saint Nicholas. Sint Nicolaas. And in 1804, John Pintard, a member of the New York Historical Society, distributed woodcuts of St. Nicholas at the Society's annual meeting, the background of which contains the now familiar Santa images, including stockings filled with toys and fruits hung over a fireplace. And so that's where that tradition is said to begin. And this is not Wikipedia information, by the way. In fact, I did not go to Wikipedia for one part of this, not even one part. In 1809, Washington Irving helped to popularize the Sinterklaas stories when he referred to St. Nicholas as the patron saint of New York in his book, The History of New York. And so, as his prominence developed as he became more notorious in the New World. Sinterklaas was described as they used to call him a rascal in a three-cornered hat. They said he wore a tricorn hat, a red waistcoat, and yellow stockings, and a huge pair of Flemish trunk hose. Now, Flemish is a dialect of Dutch that is spoken in three parts of Holland and part of Belgium. So that's what Flemish means. Anyway, gift giving, mainly centered around children, has been the big deal about Christmas celebration since the holiday really made a comeback in the early 19th century. And stores actually began to advertise Christmas shopping in, wait for it, 1820. And by the 1840s, newspapers were creating separate sections for holiday, like advertising, and they would have, pictures of the newly popular Santa Claus along with the various things that they were offering that season, for as a retail offering. In 1841, anyway, a zillion children visited a Philadelphia shop to see a life-size Santa Claus model. It was only a matter of time before stores began to attract children and their parents with the lure of a peek at a, quote, live Santa Claus. And that's where the live Santa Clauses came from, was Philadelphia back in like the mid-19th century. In the early 1890s, the Salvation Army needed money to pay for the free Christmas meals they provided needy families. So they decided to go out and get a bunch of bums, unemployed guys, anybody they could. If you could fog glass, they would suit you up in a Santa Claus suit and sending them into the streets of New York to solicit donations and hope that they brought some of them back. Those familiar Salvation Army Santas have been ringing bells on street corners of American cities, ever since. And I hope they're more honest than their reputation was back then. Anyway, probably the most iconic department store Santa is the Kris Kringle of the 1947 classic Santa Claus movie, Miracle on 34th Street. And if you remember a young Natalie Wood, and she plays a little girl who believes Kris Kringle, when he says he's the real Santa Claus, the Miracle on 34th Street was remade in 1994.
Wait a second. I'm going to fill in for Adam here. Wait, what? Natalie Wood was the kid in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. In 1947, a young Natalie Wood she played the little girl who believes
and Edmund Gwynn played Kris Kringle.
Wow. Okay.
That's right, Ed Gwynn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that part I remembered. Cool.
Maureen O'Hara.
There's actually there's a really cool scene in the remake of Miracle on 34th Street because I guess the character is deaf or something like that, or there's a deaf kid in the scene, and the mom is like, they take her to see Santa, and the mom's like, you don't have to talk to her, she's deaf, she just wants to see you. And Santa just starts signing to her.
Oh,
I thought you said death for a
And
moment, and I was going to, man, this got dark.
and
no,
it's
she's
not a
so
good remake.
cute. Like, he just like pulls her up onto his lap, and he's like, "You're really beautiful." Like, and he's signing and like speaking slowly, so
Aw.
she like it, just in case she's lip reading too. Like, he's like, you know how it when a person who signs that is hearing when they speak,
Mhm.
they they slow it down, right? That's what he was doing. It was so cute. It was like, oh, that's adorable.
That's
Like,
nice. That was Richard Attenborough, by the way.
yes, it was.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He would make a good Santa, I think. I
He
never
would.
saw that, but I've seen the original. Natalie Wood was terrible as Santa. Anyway, the Macy's Santa has appeared at almost every Macy's Thanksgiving Day. That's my next note, is
Mm.
Thanksgiving Day parade since it began. Those began in 1924, and you still get to see the real Santa. The real Santa is at Macy's, and at all the stores around the country, because he gets around to all those stores the same way he gets the toys to all the kids on Christmas Day. So all the children can take pictures on Santa's lap, and tell them what they want for Christmas. It's kind of like visiting the
My
president.
kids,
But
my
anyway,
kids insist on seeing Santa Claus. Like, not
does
in the
he like to
mall.
sniff
Like,
their hair?
no, they don't want to see him in the mall. Like, they want to see him on Christmas Eve. They're like, we're gonna stay in the living room,
Yep.
and we're like, and Pincolo and I are like, well, we got news for you. If Santa sees you in the living room, he's not coming.
Deals
Yeah.
off. Deals
Man,
off.
I'm tired. Yeah.
Well,
Let's see.
they've
Time to hit the
been bad
hay.
enough. They've been bad enough that we had to threaten, or that we for up until like this week, we were like, Santa's not coming.
Yeah.
Santa is not. He's been watching you too. He is not coming. Like,
Just,
one year, you were talking about anecdotes. I almost said anecdotes. I have no idea what the fuck that is, but okay.
it's actually kind of
Um,
a cool sniglet word.
an
Anyway, go ahead.
anecdote, yeah.
Yeah, an anecdote.
So one year, I think I was about 8. I was so bad. My mom kept threatening me. Santa, if you don't shape up, Santa is going to bring you nothing but a bowling ball for Christmas.
Ooh.
And I didn't believe her. Like, I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. Like, Santa's not that mean, right? So I just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then, so and our Christmas tradition, what used to be, we would go up to Ottawa to see my uncle. And so, and I'm like, Santa's not gonna, like, maybe he would do that if we were at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Santa's not gonna do that at my uncle's house. No way
Mm.
is Santa gonna do that at my uncle's house. Well, boy, oh boy, was I wrong. Because I got a bowling ball wrapped up that year for Christmas.
Wow. And
From
that's all you got?
Now, no, they did still have like presents for me, but that was the first thing they gave me, and they
Mm-hmm.
were like, for about 5 minutes. They were like, no, that's all you're getting. And then I started to get really, really upset, and they're like, well, are you gonna be a little shit now? And I'm like, no. They're like, good. You come sit down and unwrap your real present now.
Sure that didn't put any scars in the old personality.
I making its rounds again this holiday season is the suggestion for parents that they wrap empty boxes, and when the kids act up, they hurl one of the boxes into the fireplace.
Oh yeah, it's
that's a little more traumatic than what happened to me.
my parents used to talk about hurling us into the fireplace. You know, it's like we did your sister. What sister? Oh,
exactly. Well, like, because
there's room in the backyard for another mound, you little asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because right after I got that bowling ball and they asked me if I was done being a little shithead, my uncle handed me a present that was my very first leather jacket that he had taken the time to put my name in braille in studs in the back.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
So yeah, that was
pretty fucking fantastic, actually.
Yeah. I think my mom still has that jacket.
Of course she does. I would. My goodness. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot to it. I mean, you know, have you ever heard of the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas"?
Oh yes.
Do you know what the real name of it is?
A Visit from St. Nicholas.
No, almost. I'm not surprised you almost got it. It's an account of a visit from St. Nicholas. Very good. Yeah.
Clement Moore.
Clement Moore. That's exactly right. 1822.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not Mark Twain.
Correct. Clement Clark Moore, not Samuel Leghorn Clemens.
Langhorn.
Langhorn, thank you. Foghorn Leghorn, Langhorn Clemens.
I'll say, boy, Tom Sawyer.
I say, boy, I saw a jumping frog.
Yeah.
Oh, me, yeah. I think that may have been
the
first.
Leghorn would use a hard R, but anyway,
the first poem I ever memorized.
He totally would.
I think he totally would. But
Foghorn Leghorn, he would all be up about the hard R.
He'd be about it, yeah. And let's see. In 1881, political cartoonist Thomas Nast drew on Moore's poem to create the first likeness that matches our modern image of St. Nicholas or Santa Claus.
His jolly old elf.
Yeah, his cartoon, which appeared in what, Prospero? Do you know?
Oh God, Nast.
Harper's,
thank you.
Yeah. Depicted Santa as a rotund, cheerful man with a full white beard holding a sack laden with toys for lucky children who were better behaved than Blind Press was when she was a child. It is Nast who gave Santa his bright red suit trimmed with white fur, North Pole workshop elves, and his wife, Mrs. Claus, who's quite happy to live with all those elves because, you know, she's got some baggage. Anyway, Santa Claus around the world. What did I have on that? I didn't really have too much.
That's so dark.
A lot of stuff about it.
And then there's Krampus.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Kris Kringle?
Yeah, from the Miracle.
That's the Swiss and German stuff. And Christkind is actually where that comes from.
The Christkind,
it means Christ child. Right. And it's an angel-like figure often accompanied by St. Nicholas on his holiday missions. So there's this like little angel Christoid thing that accompanies St. Nick in his sleigh, according to the Kris Kringle.
And the Swiss, I think, call it the Christkindl. There was a whole series of resin figures made in the late 80s and 90s. International Santa collection. And it had loads of different iterations of Santa or things like the Christkindl, the Finnish elf on skis character, the first footer for the Scots.
That's cool.
and then it had like Mr. and Mrs. Claus America, Mr. and Mrs. Claus Great Britain,
when was
Ireland. I collected most of them in the 90s.
In the 90s, okay. So
yeah, I have a mantle that is about 12 feet long and then bends for about 2 feet back to the wall.
So, and it's filled with resinous Christmas.
I can cover it completely tooth deep, at least, with these international things.
Good God.
I have 3 boxes of them. Yeah, they put them on
That's a lot of Santa Claus figures.
Well, I'd call it the Christmas whorehouse for a reason. But I was fascinated by the different iterations.
Yeah.
The Japanese. I used to set the Axis Power ones off on their own shelf. They were isolated. And
just in case.
I'd stick France. I'd stick France over there for being a collaborator.
You just gotta make sure you gotta isolate them, you know.
Yeah, the Japanese Santa,
just in case,
and the German
gets real.
We're stuck on a separate shelf with
just
with
in case shit gets real too quickly. You know, you gotta keep that shit isolated.
That absolutely.
Well, I wanted to just finish this one little bit here, and then my little monologue will be done. In Scandinavia, a jolly elf named Joltumton was thought to deliver gifts.
Cool name.
Was thought to deliver gifts in a sleigh drawn by what? Reindeer. Now you would think reindeer, right? Nope. Anybody?
A dragon.
Nope. Goats. Yes, indeed. And
better hope they aren't fainting goats.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be
these are flying goats. They're different variety.
Merry Christmas.
English legend explains that Father Christmas visits each home on Christmas Eve to fill children's stockings with holiday treats, and Père Noël is responsible for filling the shoes of French children. And that was something that we actually did when we were over in Belgium. I had forgotten about this. We had these dopey wooden shoes. These were real carved wooden shoes, the actual legit wooden shoes made in Holland. And we had 2 of them each. And our parents would fill them with candies and other stuff that we would usually find in our stocking. We would also find the stuff in our stocking. We'd find tangerines and nuts and little chocolates and stuff. And
did you guys put them outside your house, or did you guys?
No, we put them on the hearth. Put them on the hearth.
Okay.
Put them on the hearth.
Because I know some of
it was stockings.
I know some of the legends are that you put the shoes like outside your front door. I think, and then Saint Nicholas comes and fills the shoes. I think that's the older Dutch.
Yeah, that was I remember
iteration.
Right. And finally, in Italy, there is a story of a woman called La Befana, a kindly witch who rides a broomstick down the chimneys of Italian homes to deliver toys into the stockings of lucky children. I understand she's a subcontractor for for Saint Nick, and probably bills all her time and does her expenses on time. Am I right?
What was that name? What was that name?
La Befana. 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 Befana.
Okay. Because there are a couple different women characters in that legend group that are.
Oh yeah, well, Italian. If you know anything about the history of Italy, Italy was the original warlord kingdom. I mean, it was just a bunch of tiny little principalities. That's why you have stuff like San Marino and Luxembourg and Liechtenstein and all that stuff.
Well,
that was warlord territory.
Italy didn't even speak a unified Italian until after the Second World War, I think.
They still don't speak a unified Italian. Northern Italian and Southern Italian are real different.
Those people do not like each other.
Those people
No.
do not like each other. That's absolutely right. And like I go back, I visit my relatives in Gubbio, and they talk about Sicilian scum. They really think those guys are. It's like being from Arkansas if you live in Texas. Fuck you. Don't need you, and and the people in Sicily, they basically don't think about anything but themselves. They don't even think about. They don't even think about Northern Italy. They don't care. They've got their own. They're very very locally, very very provincial, unbelievably provincial. Truly.
You're going to mention Coca-Cola basically solidifying Santa's image.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Christmas traditions in the United States. I did have a couple of notes here, on the whole thing with Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Joker, the one who was fired, and the most the most famous reindeer of all, Rudolph, and all that jazz. And the what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, leaving cookies and milk for Santa. Yeah. And, that was something that
as opposed to Scotch and
came
Santa
up in the 1930s. Came up in the 1930s to keep Santa in his in fighting trim with plenty of carbohydrates and sugar. But in 1934, there was a Christmas song called "Santa Claus is Coming to Town," and in it says he's making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out is not any nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been vaccinated. So be vaxxed for goodness. Wait a minute, what? No. Anyway, it's been updated. This article, but
he knows if you've had 2 or 3.
No, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was the creation of a guy named Robert L. May.
Yeah, that's a sad story.
He was a copywriter where?
Montgomery Ward.
That's exactly right. Montgomery Ward department store. I'm so pumped that you knew that.
Oh yeah, I know the whole story about why May wrote the story, which is actually
tell us what you
kind of tragic. His wife was dying.
Yeah.
And he was trying to cheer up his children.
Yes.
And he wrote this story, and it the store would do a promotional book each Christmas, and so Rudolph got picked up as the promotional book, and of course Monkey Ward basically had all the copyright to it. Mm-hmm. That actually ended up changing. They did sign the copyright back to May.
Yeah,
which was quite fortuitous for him as he moved forward in his life. And it was a cousin of his, if I recall correctly,
Johnny Marks.
Yeah, but it was wasn't it a cousin that knew Johnny Marks, or
worked
with Johnny
Marks? The source
Marks?
that I had, it was one of his childhood friends. I don't know if he was
okay. And then Marks
anyway, they
wrote the song, yeah, right. And then they managed to
Gene Autry
score Gene Autry to record it, and it became an enormous hit. But Monkey Ward sold out of that book very, very quickly, and the demand continued for it for years.
Yep.
And then Rankin Bass did their claymation in the 60s Christmas special of it.
And it's
Hermie the gay dentist, and Burl Ives playing the roles of it.
I was going to say it's Burl Ives' most viewed performance.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just another.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Yo.
And that guy's so the freaking he's so trigger happy in that Christmas. So much shooting in that movie. It's so funny. It's like, is this Christmas or is this war? What's going on?
Why not both?
So, do they still have Christmas in California, Harry?
Is it allowed?
For now. You know, it's probably, if I go to the internet and I search for who's the real governor of Georgia right now? I can't remember her name.
Stacey Abrams.
Bramopotamus.
If I search for Stacey Abrams and like Santa costume, am I going to find like a Stacey Abrams Santa out there?
I don't know if I would want to do that.
I have to.
I wonder if that's a thing.
I got to know.
Oh, Jesus.
And if not,
Skep,
why
you
not?
are a brave
There needs to
man.
be. No, I mean we have Christmas here, but it's all like pre-order your tamales.
It's all Navidad, baby.
And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I have every intention of pre-ordering a whole bunch of tamales tomorrow. If I can get a bunch of Christmas tamales and put them in the freezer, that's okay. But no, there's Christmas here. You know, it does snow in parts of this state.
I'm actually happy because I'm actually going to see family this year.
What a concept.
But
I
Christmas
know,
on the
right?
beach is not fun. I mean, the Corona ads with the palm tree with the Christmas lights on it, it's like, nice try. It's kind of hard to get in the spirit when it's like 60 something and sunny.
Oh, I don't know.
I hate winter. I do. But
A Canadian who hates
with
winter.
it.
Let me wrap my brain around that.
There are lots of us who do, and then there are lots of us who are like, yay, snowboarding, skiing, and I'm just like, no, that hurts my face. The wind, it hurts my face.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I can put up with winter until December 26th, and then I can go away.
Yeah, the courier, do
over.
the courier and Ives thing and then fuck off.
Yeah, Christmas is over. Now you can go away.
Well, winter literally just got here.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
So, does that look like jolly old Kris Kringle there? Or?
That maybe the top part. So Christmas is
Don't see her.
Christmas gets a bad rap, starting with the fact that people try to make it Christmas when it's not supposed to be Christmas. I don't want to hear about Christmas in October, and I honestly don't really want to hear about Christmas in November. Black Friday can fuck right off.
Try getting that back in Pandora's box.
Hey,
buddy.
I'm just saying, as far as I'm concerned, if there isn't like a D in front of the name of the month, I don't want to hear about Christmas.
Usually that's the first weekend of Advent, which kind of opens the door.
Yeah. And one time I was in Monterey, and I was at there's a I can't remember, I think it was the Doubletree hotel in Monterey, and this was like 30 years ago or something. I think it was 30 years ago. And I went I went downstairs. They had like this little jazz club.
Yeah.
And Joyce Dobson was there singing, and she's kind of sort of famous-ish, not super famous, but she's a name you might recognize. And I swear to you, I think it was May, and she was singing. She said, "Here's a little song written by Mel Torme," and then she starts singing the Christmas song.
Out of season Christmas music is immoral.
I'm sorry. That is, to my mind, that is the most egregious out of season Christmas thing I've ever seen. Or in this case, heard. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Am I the only one that gets angry when that happens?
Well, no, I was kind of furious. It's like, all I want to do is just have a beer and just be left alone and enjoy some jazz. And this is happening to me. This assault on my everything.
The thing for me is I don't like most Christmas music because it feels fake to me.
Well, what about the old stuff? The classic stuff?
Well, the classic stuff is okay-ish, but then it gets a little bit too religious for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's really no balance between...
Well, there is that problem with that holiday, isn't it?
There's no balance between fake happiness and stultifying religious crap. And because I'll be listening to Christmas music and I'll be like, dude, even though I'm glad to be around my family, like not even on my happiest day do I feel like listening to this saccharine shit
Well,
that
have
Christmas
you
music
ever heard?
is.
Well, I mean, you're Canadian, so I think this is required. But have you ever heard Holly Cole's Christmas album?
Probably.
Well, it's not saccharine. That's the thing about it is it's Canadian. It's not saccharine. It was back before she kind of ruined her pipes. It's a pretty good. You should check it out. I think that's called "Baby It's Cold Outside" is actually the title of the album. It's a good one.
Okay, yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah, her version of "Baby It's Cold Outside" is good, but I like Holly Cole. But
there's
go ahead.
French Canadian Christmas music from like the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
That's some good shit. 'Cause it's like, especially if you can get it from, there's one female singer and I can't remember her name, but she is a bouncy, peppy, but she's not like saccharine. She's like a country, Quebec, like it's accordions and pianos and like it's so weird and random, but you can't help dancing to it. My grandmother's French Canadian and she puts it on all the time and it's like you just can't help but smile because it's just a happy like it's just a happy French girl singing about, just singing about winter in Quebec. It's,
Hey, anything but Paul McCartney. Not in May though,
Oh.
and not that Paul McCartney thing. I hate that song. It's one of my most hated. Outside of like really bad like drill music or bad rap or something, that Paul McCartney thing that just repeats the same thing over and over again is terrible.
Like what? Like
Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, and it's like weirdly tuned.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Because
it's
children sing their songs.
It's the thing you hear when you go to the 24-hour supermarket on December 18th.
Yes.
And it's like 1 a.m,
Right.
and there's not enough noise to block it out, so you hear the
oh my
god.
It's like my life.
Yeah, it's like all I want for Christmas is you.
Oh my god. If I hear that song one more time scrolling through TikTok, I think I might need a new phone.
I think one of the most amazing memes I've seen is it was a picture of children listening to Mariah Carey, and it was a Fallout drill from the 1950s of kids in the hallway bent over with their hands over their heads. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect.
I want to do a TikTok of where that song comes on and then I stitch it and I'm like, all I really want for Christmas is to never hear this song. It's just make up new lyrics to that tune about how I never ever want to hear this song ever again.
Yeah.
Because God, I hate like Mariah Carey's voice. It's so screechy. Like, even when she's not singing,
you're not allowed to say that.
Even when
her
she's
voice
not
is amazing. It's the best voice in history.
She's not allowed to say that about Celine Dion. She can say whatever she wants about Mariah Carey.
Oh, fuck Celine Dion.
No, she's a national treasure.
When
Rush
she came back,
and Celine Dion, and I think that's it.
Rush was also terrible.
You don't like Rush, okay?
No.
Wow.
Good Lord.
How are you Canadian? Jesus.
When Canadians are gone, there'll be no more Celine Dion.
Do you realize most Canadians don't like Celine Dion?
You don't like you don't like snowmobiles. You don't like Rush.
Yeah. I mean,
you are so close to being kicked out.
It's the French in her.
The Tragically Hip are a much better Canadian band than Rush ever was.
I actually think, first of all, you're right there, but the thing about Rush is you have 3 really good musicians really
And
terrific
one
musicians.
really bad one.
Well, no, it's only 3 guys, but those they play weird music that Geddy Lee mostly writes,
Yeah.
and nobody can understand it. It's not a song per se. They're kind of these weird prose mystical poems, that he casts into, this prog rock,
He's got a
oh rock.
weird voice.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's got that weird high voice, the
He
reedy
sounds like
high
a
voice.
chick.
Yeah,
He always sounds like a chick to me. If I don't hear a radio person say specifically, I'm going to play Rush now,
Mhm.
for a minute, I'm like, who the fuck is that girl? And then I'm like, oh, wait, that's Geddy Lee. Okay, never mind.
Well, I've been asked the question, "What's your favorite Geddy Lee song?" And I say it's "The Great White North," because that was his one comedy entry, and he made fun of himself, and it was brilliant fun. It was great fun. Bob and Doug McKenzie were there,
Yeah.
But he got up there and sang, "Take Off to the Great White North," and it was ripping good fun. But the rest of his music, it's not beautiful to the ear. It's kind of interesting. I admire it as a musician myself, but it never. I wish I liked it. I feel guilty for not liking it, but there we have it. I don't.
And then you get the Tragically Hip, where if
they're an
you
actual
want to hear
band.
stories, if you would like to hear songs that tell stories,
right,
listen to the Tragically Hip.
Yeah, you turned me on to them, as a matter of fact.
Oh God, they're
remember
amazing.
that was early in our streaming ship. You mentioned them, and I said, I've never heard of those people. You said, oh, and you sent me a bunch of pointers to them. That was like 3 years ago.
They were amazing, and that's especially like the lead singer. He passed away in 2017 from brain cancer.
Yeah,
and the band did a farewell tour just before he passed. And the cancer affected his memory so bad that he had to relearn his own lyrics.
Yeah.
He had an iPad that he had his lyrics on.
All I want for Christmas is no more brain cancer.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when he was doing his shows, you couldn't tell at all that he had ever forgot. Like his voice was still there, and
he had brain cancer, and I'll bet he sounded better than Joe Biden.
Oh, tons better. Like even when he wasn't singing, like when he was speaking, he was still like he could even form a sentence better than Joe Biden could.
And even after he was dead, he was more truthful.
I bet, yeah.
So, but anyway.
What are you guys planning for Christmas? What's everybody's plans?
Mostly work.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's the IT business. Of course, I don't know if Harry is. Harry, you're so much B2B, and you don't work on downtime. You don't have to wait for downtime to do most of your work, do you?
Depends on what the work is.
Yeah, exactly. But I always used to have work in holidays because that was downtime.
Well, the whole idea of a holiday shutdown was one of those things that's kind of been on its way out for a while.
Yeah.
They used to do these things where like, oh, everybody's going home, can't keep the computers up and running, going to shut down the chillers, going to do this, and we'll use this for maintenance. We'll fix up the UPSs and the PDUs and do all that stuff we need to do, and everybody will just take off. And they just don't do that anymore.
No, 5/9 was the end of that.
Businesses don't have shutdowns anymore for stuff like that.
Right.
So if you want to, replace the core stack of switches in an office or something, your options are Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. day.
Or buy
Easter.
duplicate hardware and run it in parallel and then take.
Oh, nobody wants to spend that kind of money. It's much better just to torture the poor IT people. Luckily, I don't have to do that kind of stuff too often. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Christmas, I keep having this fantasy. The problem with Christmas is it's really depressing for some people, at least people like me, because I always think there's this ideal that I would really want. And to me, the perfect Christmas would be me and imaginary girlfriend at the Awani having delicious food for Christmas. And that's one of those things where, it's like so far out on the waiting list that to do something like that, it's like, well, are we both going to be alive in 10 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
You kind of don't want to invest that much energy into anticipating something like that, because it just feels like the universe is going to kick you in the nads.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point.
I tend to agree.
We've got all these grandkids and people who want to, come over and tell you, and kiss you on your cheek and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Christmas is not big excitement. So it's just, it's hard not to get super depressed during Christmas for me, but that's my problem. I mean, it definitely had good Christmases a long time ago when I was a kid. I think I've told you this story before. I figured out the whole Santa thing was a scam pretty early, and
Tell the story.
I didn't let anybody know.
Tell the story.
So I was just like, nope, because as soon as you figure out that Santa's not real, you stop getting presents from Santa, and I was enjoying double dipping, so I just faked it. And then I think it was third grade, I got like this amazing chemistry set, and I thanked my dad, and he looked at me. I'm like, fuck, it's over now. I don't get to double dip anymore. But that really was probably, when I was a kid, probably the best present. I had so much fun with that chemistry set. And I don't even really like chemistry all that much, but it was a lot of fun. It was pretty educational. But that Christmas is kind of neat. I really did actually enjoy it a lot when I was a kid. But if COVID has eroded what little structure there is for a lot of people. A lot of people who used to just have friends or acquaintances or something don't even have that now. Last Christmas was rough. I'm hoping this Christmas is a lot better, as people tell Lord Fauci he can just pound sand.
Well, I know that my mom is having me and Pincalo and the boys over, and our family friend is coming over as well on Christmas Eve. And then on Saturday, we're all going to my uncle's place. So we're gonna see my grandma and my grandpa and my uncle and his wife and their son. So the boys get to see their cousin finally. They haven't seen him since the summer. So, I mean, like, because people up here are also basically like, fuck you. Where we, like, public health is like, we really think you guys should do small gatherings, like no more than 10 people indoors. And basically everyone's like, la 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 la, we don't hear you. La la la. Like there are people there are health officials that are literally suggesting that people offer tests to their family members.
Yep. Nothing says unconditional
Merry
love
Christmas!
like making somebody take a test before they come in the house.
Merry Christmas. Would you mind shoving this up your nose really quick before you come in?
And would you mind staying in the garage until you've been cleared?
Yes.
Please step into the garage, shove this up your nose, and if it turns negative, you may enter.
Sora mentioned that they have been tossed into lockdown.
Yep.
Starting
Quebec just shut it.
The 22nd, starting today through what is it? It's very peculiar. It's like January 2nd or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And Quebec,
like it's
Quebec
going to
just
really
shut
have an
their
impact
schools
on
down.
Omicron. Something with an R factor of 3 to 5. It's going to have an impact.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And Quebec just shut their schools down, and I'm really worried that Ontario is going to follow suit. I'm worried that come next Wednesday or Thursday, Ford and the education minister are going to come out and they're going to say, you know, we're really sorry to do this to you on, you know, the week just before the New Year's weekend, but we're going to have to close the schools. Like, and I know that I'm not the only one, but, you know, my kid, my oldest one in particular, needs that structure. Like, he needs to be in the building. He does not do well with online school. It just doesn't work for him.
Online school, which is what I'm doing with 2 of the grandkids, you have to have an adult writing herd on them, physically being with them.
And then
in
nothing
my
else gets
opinion.
done. Like nothing else gets, like you sit there, right? And you're sitting there with the kid, and both of you are miserable because they don't want to be doing this. You know they don't want to be doing this. You don't want them to be doing this. You don't want to be doing it yourself. And everybody's frustrated. And then
But I want to
you're
be doing
sitting
that.
and you're sitting there going,
Isn't
look at all
knowledge
this other
great?
shit.
Are you having as much fun
You're
as I am?
and you're sitting there going, look at all this other shit I have to do.
Yeah.
Right? My dishes are piling up in the sink. My floor is disgusting. What the hell am I gonna cook for dinner tonight? I can't do any of that shit because I'm trying to make sure that my child isn't running off to YouTube.
I have an answer for you, PP. Collect all the grandparents. Make them move in with you.
No.
Yeah,
Make them
that's a
come.
non-starter, Jenna.
I love my mother and father, but no.
Make them come during Alex's, your child's school day, and be like, "This is your new teacher, bitch."
My mom was amazing during the first and second lockdown with the oldest because she took him for the afternoon and she got him caught up on the stuff that him and I had trouble doing in the morning, and she did the afternoon work with him. But like, I don't know what's gonna happen in this lockdown because the 4-year-old's not in daycare anymore. And I don't know what the hell they expect virtual learning for junior kindergarten is going to be. Like,
God only knows.
I've seen so many parents that are like, if we go into lockdown again, my kids are done school for the year. Like,
I'm glad you clarified that.
They're just like, they're like, I'll just do educational stuff with them, but they're done school for the year. They're not doing this online shit again. And I don't blame them, but I mean, you can't just not do that. Like, your kids have to do something.
Yeah, it's
When we pulled the kids out of school because of what happened with Tommy, they are home 4 days a week, if not sometimes 9 days a week. So
9 days.
9 days, it's 2 weeks of school.
9 days of every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that got hard to get used to, but they actually move up quicker and they don't get taught the bullshit that.
Yeah. Like, the other thing is that between my mental health issues and Alex's, him and I just do not mesh as a teacher
You're
student.
too much alike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I luckily, I do have a lot of, I have my in-laws who live with
Yeah.
me and my parents
Yeah.
and my older kids. Part of the deal is when they reach grown-up age, they have to help the younger kids with school.
Makes sense.
They're doing college and stuff, but I have full confidence in them because they were doing
Yeah.
college and high school.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you've got a village to help raise the idiots.
Exactly.
Which really does help, but it certainly
does.
didn't help people who were trying to work from home. And,
no, I couldn't imagine being in BP situation where I couldn't. I don't know. I'd probably go. I'd be like, all right, kid.
circus
there
isn't down. Back your bag.
There were several times during lockdown where, like, I would just kind of walk away while he was on the call with his teacher and just, like, go sit in the bathroom and cry. Just like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this.
Oh, it was I mean, you have a unique set of circumstances that make it almost impossible to do the kind of thing that they want the interactive adult to be able to do instead of the teacher.
It's interesting. This is not a problem that we ever had before the internet, really.
Nope.
I mean, there and
get a library.
I got to thinking about the way that Christmas was, when I was growing up. there was no person-to-person communication the way there is in the internet now. That's one of the biggest changes that has happened in our lives. There was only one-way communication, and that came from the television set to you, and whoever got on TV, that was the communication aristocracy, who the oligarchs who decided what was news and decided what you got to hear and what entertained you and so forth. And Christmas was very structured and very, very ritualized. There was a couple of months of buying gifts, wrapping gifts, making sure gifts got sent through the mail and would get there in time. That was hugely important. Nowadays we have so much more, first of all, so much more leisure time, so much more freedom that in terms of how to get gifts to people, and also just whether or not, even if you want to participate in Christmas, like with most of my family, we have what we call Christmas truce. And this reflects a feeling in my family that Christmas is at our throats again. And that is that, I won't buy you a gift if you don't buy me a gift. And as soon as I said that to another member of my family, and he said, done, it became very popular in my family to call Christmas truce with everybody. So then you only have to buy gifts for the people you really want to buy gifts for. And the Christmas truce has made my Christmases a lot more fun because I buy a lot fewer gifts. There's less
Yeah.
financial pressure, and I buy the things that I really want to get for the people I want to get something for. Or if I see something, that's the other thing, is that, you know, a gift to me, the most important thing about a gift is that the person who receives it likes it. And
Yes.
Right.
you can't always find things at a certain time of the year, and no matter how hard you look, that someone is just going to love. And so you settle and you buy something. At least, you know, I got it off my list. I got them a gift, and they pretend to like it, and it goes on a shelf or in a closet or in the trash can or is regifted, or, you know, something, you know, that and all in all, that just seemed to me a useless enterprise. And so the Christmas truce allows me to actually only buy gifts for people who are going to like the thing that I like, and I never know who I'm going to buy. There are a few people I always buy Christmas gifts for, but that they tend to be easy to buy for, and they're you know, my closest relatives. And then if I see something that, you know, tickles my fancy, oh, that'd be perfect for so and so, I'll buy something like that. And that's and as a result, my holiday season is a lot more pleasant than it was 25 years ago, when I had a list of people who I absolutely had to buy stuff for, and it absolutely had to be done that day because we were wrapping that night, and you know, putting them in packages and taking them down to the post office tomorrow. That was just you know, so it really was the nightmare before Christmas. And you know,
And then there
now
was
Christmas is a lot more
and
relaxed.
then there's the long distance telephone call that
Oh yeah.
happened every Christmas day at the
Mhm.
family house, and the cordless phone gets passed around, and
Cordless
everybody's
phone.
like
Cordless phone.
every
You guys were
eh,
fancy.
well
Yeah, you aristocrat.
that was I was gonna say, and that's only been around for about 25 years. Before that, it was okay, line up in the kitchen,
Yes.
and we'll
That's right.
pass the phone around.
The cord wasn't long enough?
And no, not always.
Didn't you have one of those
Eh,
super long cords where you could stand like 20 feet away and then just kind of hit it and
my
watch the waves move?
not no, my grandparents didn't have
Standing wave,
that
make
long of
standing
a
waves.
Yes.
no, they didn't have that long of a phone cord.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, but it was and it had to be quick, so everyone had to shut up so everybody could talk quick and be heard, because long distance was like, it was like $1.50 a minute, so everyone had to hurry up and talk and say their thing, so
Yeah.
that everybody could could you know, say their piece and say Merry Christmas to the person 6 or 7 hours away, and then and then we would hang up. It's just, oh, the phone call. Now we can just FaceTime everybody. Okay, everyone. Oh, no, and now we don't even need to gather around one iPhone.
Hmm.
You can just add people to the call. So you can have, you know, 17 freaking iPhone people just,
You
oh
know,
look, we're all calling
that's
someone in
really a great point.
Australia.
That's a really great point. That's something that you can only that you appreciate substantially more, I think, if you spent the first half of your life without it. I
Yeah.
am absolutely amazed by the communication options and opportunities that are available to people now. It really is. It's more than life changing. It is absolutely revolutionary.
The fact that I was able the other day to point my iPhone camera at the Christmas tree,
Hmm.
and for my phone to say focus mode, decorated Christmas tree inside a room, and then I was able to take the picture and text it to my mother-in-law
That is awesome.
in 30 seconds.
That is
And
amazing.
I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to do that even 20 years ago. Like, as a
Yeah.
blind person, that would not have been possible
It wouldn't have
to
been
do. Like,
possible 15 or 10
Well,
years ago.
no, like even when you guys could picture message,
Mhm.
blind people were like, "Gee, that's cool."
Yeah, great. What the hell is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I supposed to guess how many pixels?
Yeah. Here, let me touch the screen. Maybe I
Yeah.
can tell how many pixels are there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I
And
just delete your picture?
Is that my thumb in the picture? I'm sorry.
Oh my god, so Pincalo, speaking of gifts that people like. So Pincalo got a nice little check. Um, his insurance company, I guess, is like they split up. So the company, like all of the holder people got shares, right?
It's a mutual insurance company, and so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
mutually
yeah.
owned, and so he got a return of capital. That's
He
cool.
got a return. Yeah, so
No
he got a
taxes.
return, and so he's like, what do I do? He's hemming and hawing and hemming and hawing. And I'm like, you never buy yourself anything. Get a fucking camera, right? So now he has a camera that is an actual, like, honest to goodness camera.
Mm.
And he's super happy. And he's also happy because his old lens from his old, like, Canon EOS Rebel actually works on his new Canon. He's like, I have two lenses and I didn't have to buy one. Yay!
It's the little
um,
things in life.
but this evening, he was trying to take better pictures of the tree for everybody with the camera, and Logan, the 4-year-old, he kept photobombing him, and then going, "Can I see the picture? Can I see the picture?" Poor Pincalo. And then Logan's like, "Take a picture of my hand. Take a picture of the inside of my mouth. Take a picture of my eyes."
Oh, speaking of eyes, can I just say, BP, when that person said, "Please don't take my eyes," and you said, "Don't
Oh,
worry, I have an extra,"
that's
I laughed.
I love that video.
I think I showed it to everyone in the house. It was just grand. Check out BP on TikTok. It's worth it.
There's a video where I stitched where a girl's like, "Please don't steal my eyes." And so I have one of my spare sets, and I go, "It's okay, I have spares," and I hold them up in my hand.
That's
It
awesome.
was hysterical.
I don't have a TikTok account for a
I
reason.
made one just so I could see what was up and like comment on things. But if in fairness, there just isn't a lot of content over there that interests me. There's
Well,
Blind Press and a
You
few
have
other
to
people.
be you have to be in the, like, your For You page has to be, like, curated properly, otherwise you do get a lot of crap.
Yeah, I've never done anything with it other than set up the account. I think I've gone there 3 times ever, and
Yeah.
I have an account, but I've never posted anything on it.
You use it to keep an eye on your kids,
I
right?
stalk people.
stalk people. Do you heard it here,
Mainly,
folks?
little
Mainly your
people
kids.
with the same last name as me.
Yeah.
I swear, every person I know. I mean, I know there's guys who cyberstalk people, but every person I know personally who cyberstalks people is a woman. I don't know. I don't. What is it about you guys?
Well, it's not like I'm stalking
Strangers?
strangers. It's my kids.
Uh huh.
And BP, but she always shows up in my scrolls, so. And I never give up a good.
I just hit 30,000 followers, actually. I'm kind of happy about that.
Wow.
You're 30,000 on TikTok?
Yeah.
That's
I guess it's not useless after all. Holy crap.
Damn.
Nope.
Damn, girl.
You're going to have more TikTok subscribers than Skep has
She's got
Twitter
almost
subscribers.
double. I've got 17,000.
Oh, that's right, because a bunch of yours turned out to be fake, according to them, right?
When actually
They purged a bunch of them.
they unhooked them. They actually did not remove. They unhooked 5,000 accounts from me. I had 22,000, went down to 16. Roughly 6,000, and then about 2,000 have basically come back because I just put it out there that hey, this happened, and people have been drifting back in, and I've gotten probably close to 1,500 of those accounts back. It's not that they were bots or anything. It's just that they were conservative and had a bunch of flags set, which is how Twitter, looks at people. And conservative, dangerous, says nasty words, all those things. And so they went and said, okay, we're going to review those accounts, and while we do it, we're going to unhook you. And until we get positive verification from you, we're not going to rehook you back up. And then what I think actually happened is they never hooked any of them back up.
No,
a lot of the conservatives and libertarian folk lost a whole bunch of accounts. If you go on Social Blade and you look at 2 or 3 conservative accounts, look at January of this year, and about the second week of January, you'll see everybody lose about 20% of their followers. It's
Gee, that's
like
an interesting coincidence.
Yeah. It's just wow. Who knew? Funny world, huh?
just happens.
right after a specific day in January. A specific subset of people lose a good 20% of their following. That's a very interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
So I just went on Twitter to see if I was still.
You with us, Jenna? Or is that me?
With Skep, and there's this video on here. Well, no, this video is of these little kids in soldier suits taking this one kid hostage, and they're preschoolers.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Oh my!
It's like training.
Oh, he died. What the fuck?
I think Jenna's
That's
sharing
horrible.
internet with 30 people.
Yeah. You'll also enjoy the story about the DC school teacher who had their students reenact the Holocaust.
Oh, wonderful!
Wait, what's this?
The DC school teacher having the whole Holocaust reenactment thing going on in his class.
Instead
When
of
was
Christmas.
this?
Third graders.
What?
Christ.
When was
You
this?
went out on me.
Past week or so.
What?
I mean, I don't know when. I don't know exactly when it was discovered.
Wow.
It came to my attention about a week ago. He's been suspended. She have been suspended.
I should hope so.
But I mean, the kids are traumatized because,
Well, yeah.
it was the whole marching them into gas chambers. He had a Jewish kid playing Hitler.
Oh,
What?
I need to know about this.
well done,
Okay.
sir. Well done.
I think
That's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
yeah, it is.
This is in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
I was not informed about this.
I can't remember whether I stuck something.
Let me see if I can find it.
I thought
I
I'm
thought-
going to find it right now.
Yeah, I'm checking.
I thought I put something in.
I think you sent something to me in Discord, and I'm trying to find it.
Yeah.
Staff were placed on leave after third graders reportedly reenact. Yeah, it's the Hill. I allowed ads. All right. Okay.
Okay,
Website.
Scribbles.
All right, here we go. Staff member in DC Public Schools. DC Public Schools is on leave after reportedly making third graders participate in a Holocaust reenactment. The Washington Post reported that a Watkins Elementary School staff member had students pretend to dig their classmates' mass graves and act out shooting
Jesus
victims.
Christ.
DCPS said in a statement provided to The Hill that it was investigating the reports. DC Public Schools is committed to creating blah, 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 usual crap. Additionally, there were allegations of a staff member using hate speech during the lesson, which is unacceptable and not tolerated at any of our schools. A parent told the Post, the staff member told the students that the Germans' actions in the Holocaust were because the Jews ruined Christmas.
Yeah.
This is not an approved lesson plan,
What?
and we sincerely apologize to our students and families who were subjected to this incident. The school system also said a parent told Fox 5 that the school librarian gave the lesson on the Holocaust. A Watkins Elementary librarian told the news station that somebody's misquoting what happened in the library that day, adding there was no Holocaust reenactment or hate speech. So they're denying that it happened. The school is denying that.
Yeah, I think Post Millennial may have reported on it too, which would make sense.
So
I'm just reading the Hill's
The Hill, yeah.
reply
But
thing on it.
why would some?
If they've suspended
Why would that
somebody.
be made up?
We
why
need
would
to know
that-
what happened. We need to know if
Somebody
this
could just have a
happened.
grudge,
Yeah,
you don't know.
if it happened, what happened. Oh, gee, there are people who, you can find people who have been trained in their interpretation of Christianity that somehow Jesus was killed by the Jews.
Yes.
He was
and
Jewish.
and therefore the Jews are to blame for killing God, and so everybody hate on the Jews, and
that's traditional European anti-Semitism in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's pretty much certainly the
Spanish
version.
Well, it's Spanish version, the French version, the German charismatic Catholic version.
Italian and British anti-Semitism has the financial aspect.
Yeah, it has more
the
of
resentment
a whiff about the money lenders than
exactly than
it's more about Shylock than it is about the crucifixion. But But what
the fuck is wrong with French people? Anyway,
so much.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
Much.
Where do we start?
Oh my God.
What's that line in from the Pirates of the Caribbean? Damn to the Dutch, whoever thought of the word parlay.
Yeah,
that would be the French.
More of a guideline, really. Always like that line. But
holy shit! It's 1:45.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about calling this one a little bit early this evening, on account of it is kind of the holiday week, and we'll give everybody a chance to say Merry Christmas one more time. But it's kind of a week we need to
school.
We need to relax. Yeah, I don't have to drive anybody to school this week. Not for another week after that too. And
that's another funny TikTok.
So that'll be fun. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Christmas. In spite of the fact that Christmas Day will be for me marked by losing the puppy that I've been raising for the last 3 weeks. Weeks 5 to 8 of its little life, and it's just I have grown to love this little puppy, and it's taking off with my wife. My wife is leaving me on Christmas Day. It sounds so horrible, but she's just going to Arizona for a couple of days to both deliver the dog to her daughter, my stepdaughter, and to spend a little time with them and then come back. It's not a big deal, but anyway, yeah, I definitely feel like I'm getting a lump of coal this year.
It's like a classic country song, you know. You took my dog.
My
My wife left me. My wife left me. She took my dog.
I
All
thought,
alone.
I thought we had an answer to the dog situation. Just bring them a different dog and be like, "What are you talking about? This is the dog you brought me."
You know, I actually said I suggested something like that, and they said, and it was actually my wife who said, "No, we have 2 dogs. We're not getting a 3rd dog. 3 dogs is just not going to fly here." So, and we would be out of bounds with our homeowners association. So, I suppose I better, bend to the diktats of
never having one of those.
Oh my God! I never live in a place, that I would modify Robert A. Heinlein's dictum about any place that has identification cards is a place that you need to be moving away from. I think any place that has a homeowners association is a place
I would agree.
leaving.
Yeah.
And even the there's always a Karen in charge of them that comes around and says, you put your garbage out too early. Recycling doesn't go out till tomorrow. Why are you putting it out tonight? Fuck off.
Yeah, sometimes
And they always-
it depends. I mean, I have a friend who ended up. There were so many problems that he's like, damn fine, I'll be on the stupid board, and he was constantly dealing with shit like, it was in like an apartment thing, where people owned apartments in this big swanky building, and people were doing Airbnb when they weren't supposed to. And, it's just the typical bullshit where they're trying to hide the fact that it's Airbnb, and so it's not always just the terrible Karen driving around causing trouble, or the person getting out of the car with the husband of the terrible Karen with the ruler measuring the length of the grass and writing out citations and stuff.
God,
there are people like that, but that just means that somebody good needs to come forward and replace them, because my sister had to do that too.
It's the thing of it is I live in a neighborhood that is neat as a pin. I mean, just walk around this neighborhood, it just looks good. People have pride in their homes. They take care of their homes, and it's not super upscale, but it's just about middle of the road, maybe upper middle of the road. But the people who get in those positions, either if they can do it responsibly, they can be an asset. They really can. And, I understand why it's important to have homeowners association, but inevitably there will be one clown who, feels the need to show how powerful they are by coming in and saying, telling you, homeowners agreement says that you will put your trash out on the morning of trash day, not the night before.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Petty
dictators.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am.
Live on a street.
I loved when they had dicks.
Just live on a street with only 3 other occupants.
Like you do?
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, let's send it around one more time. Does anybody have anything they want to share with the class, like wishing everybody a Merry Christmas or anything? Just say it now, because we're going to wrap up.
I finished my Christmas shopping.
Yay!
Yay!
I will be doing a stream tomorrow night, because I'm doing the coffee stream at night right now.
Uh-huh.
Just because the boys are home.
Yeah. I saw that.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure if Functional will be able to join me, but we'll see because it will be Canadian Wednesday. So join me and hopefully Functional for that. And of course, there is not going to be any Star Trek stream this Saturday because of Christmas.
In the event that Functional isn't around, if it comes up and you need an emergency, I can be fake Functional if you want it.
Okay.
So
That works.
just let me know. I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he did that for me, and that was nice of him.
Are you going to
But,
pretend to be French Canadian, or are you going to pretend to be British Canadian, or whatever the other one's called?
Huh?
Well, I thought he was going to go on there and pretend to be Canadian. Did I miss something?
No.
Functional's not
Yeah.
French.
Well, if
Yeah,
you're going to
I'll-
pretend to be functional,
I'll pretend to be Functional. So I'll be all bitchy and Canadian. Yeah. You know,
okay, you'll be
I will
that
function.
flavor of Canadian. Okay.
Yeah, I will be the stinking Quebecois snub. You're not good enough to talk to me English, man.
Well, there will be a Minions on Saturday, but it'll be Saturday night. So after all the presents are opened and all of the turkey has been eaten and all that sort of stuff, you guys can unlatch your belt, put on your stretchy pants, and snuggle in with us.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
did actually say that I would be interested in popping on to say hello. So
Sure, you could pop on,
Wonderful.
or if you want to record something ahead of time, whatever works for you.
awesome.
Sure.
And,
What time is it?
The usual time, I think.
Yeah, usual time. 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and you got to do calculus for the Pacific time.
If I'm still alive,
You better still be alive.
I'll pop on. If I'm not still alive, because Santa Claus came for a lot of children and there's going to just be. Luckily, it's supposed to be nice weather, so all the things they can use outside.
There you go.
All right. Well, it sounds good. It sounds. Prospero, did you have anything you wanted to?
Well, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, even though I will be there Saturday.
All right.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to all,
Happy New Year.
and to all a good night. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Doing these streams is really a lot of fun, at least from my point of view. It may not be much fun having to listen to me, but I have a good time, and that's what's important to me. But seriously, you know, this is big fun just to get together with friends and hang out. One of the most fun things that I do, and wouldn't be possible without all you guys in chat, my panel here tonight, everybody else who's been with me throughout the year. It's been great fun. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Be safe out there. Be sensible, too, about drinking and driving, all that sort of thing. But most of all, you know, have fun. Life's too short. And with that, we're going to shut it out for this. The last Tuesday stream until the new year, I guess.
No, next week.
Or almost.
No,
Yeah,
one
second
more.
to last Tuesday stream. That's right. I was looking wrong calendar. Wrong week of the calendar. But we'll have one more this year. And but I would just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for coming out and listening to us. It's been great fun. And with that, we're gonna hit the rack early tonight. Zoo is closed. Good night, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
And I was
Good
about to
night.
say drink drive.